Hello, myself Sunil R and here basically we are talking about one topic that is basically the future. Basically, future plan how basically are decided. In this basically just now basically we are going to take one example that is the bank basically. How basically banks decides the future plan. How basically bank says that basically this will be the future of this city because World Bank says that basically we basically give each and every money to each and every country. That is by default. World Bank only gives. Without World Bank, basically, not a single rupee basically any country gives to anyone. Because World Bank only issue, World Bank basically say that create this city, we are allocating this much money. So after that, they might be taking the control also basically, right, of their city. It's not like that the city basically they will not take the control. So here basically the thing is basically World Bank is the one chain and rest of banks basically in the world basically that are basically another chain. So one chain is World Bank. They have certain futures, and another is the banks basically they have another future. They have basically another future. So like this basically one person told that basically what is the future of this bank basically. Then he told that they are basically getting good products basically from the World Bank basically. Then one person told that basically how you know that basically their product is basically given by the World Bank only. Then he told that and how basically you can say that is a product basically, and this product is connected with this city basically. Nobody's even basically banks also might be knowing. The banks might be 100% knowing because few bankers basically might be knowing, not basically fully because they in product basically it's not written that this product is basically going to create this city. It's not written in the product, right? It's just set of attributes only basically which says that basically this product which the bank World Bank has sent to the bank, that bank is basically going to create this city basically. And to remember the each and every attributes basically, for example, how many money they have sent, how many acres of land basically they have to create, what is going to be create in that city. Nowadays basically human needs are basically natural resources are basically getting over. So now basically you have to create the software, you have to create the cities basically, and then basically from cities basically you have to uh, from city basically you have to find your alternative basically. That is the you can say from World Bank basically you get the product. World Bank says that basically this is the product basically and this is the future of this particular city. So how many acre basically is going to create from this World Bank basically? That basically is also basically fixed basically. That is the main thing basically. The World Bank know the entire diagram of the city basically because they say that basically you can't create this thing here. You can't create that thing there because they say that basically each and every mapping basically we have done of each and every buildings basically to the satellites. So they are basically, if they say that basically they want to take the control of this particular building, just now basically I am talking, then they can take basically, and they takes the energy also basically. Why? Because they have got the control, and each and every buildings in this world basically that is mapped by the mapped with the satellite group basically. So that's why basically the World Bank says that basically this many acre land is going to be converted into the city. Rest of basically it's not going to be, because they have not mapped it. There might be some reason basically, that reason basically might be some zoological reason or some other reason, or basically some satellites capability error might be there, or basically some other issue might be there, which is the set of satellite basically can take up to this much data. That might be some error, or basically there might be some World Bank total budget error. Total budget basically might be conflicting this. That's why basically they might have done it. Because they have to uh, take care of the demand and supply also, no? Because if the supply will be more, then basically there would not be any demand basically. Too much of demand might not be there. And sorry, supply basically and demand, if both are basically not little bit less, little bit near above, then basically the pricing will get issue. The pricing will get issue, and lots of things basically will happen basically. So one product basically is enough basically to give the conflict of entire demand and supply industry. So not a single product basically they do the conflict. That is basically the demand and supply. Demand is the public demands. For example, they demands this many vegetables in the world. In the world means, for example, tomato is the vegetable. So tomato basically is the supplier basically assume that one is the natural, and the another basically said that basically it's a chemical. So chemical basically is created on the base of the software. So the World Bank say that basically we have around 16 to 17 softwares which basically is going to produce tomato. So that is the supply. That is the supply. And on the base of supply basically the demands are created. Few people says that basically demand are created around. Few people says that, for example, one person told that basically I basically want tomato. But when basically he say that basically I want tomato, that basically is control, right? That means tomato energy basically, which is inside his body, that is controlling by the energy group basically. So this is actually error of the nuclear power company, that you can't control the energies of the any of the city data basically. That means it's basically big error basically, and this is going to create lots of big issue in the universe basically. In the universe basically, and mostly basically a 50 percentage product are basically created like this only basically. So each and every demand and supply basically, that is controlled by the set of groups basically. Set of groups basically. For example, supply of tomato basically is assume that it's 100. Assume that it's 1 lakh kilogram. 1 lakh kilogram is the supply from each and every software, natural, each and everything basically. So this is the basic supply. Now one person told that what is the demand here? Then he told that the demand is also basically we have set it according to the supply basically. We got the information that 100 kilo, sorry, 1 lakh kilogram is the supply basically which you had done. So according to that basically we had done the setting also basically, that public is going to demand this much only basically. Pricing, then basically few people says that we have control his body also basically, like this basically entire 100 crore only basically will be the uh, demand basically. That is very dangerous basically. Few people says that we have created movie basically for the tomato and sorry, tomato demand basically. Then one person told that basically what actually is telling here. He told that basically the public is going to demand tomato. For that basically going to demand tomato and will not going to demand count tomato For that basically we have created special movies basically. Then basically he told that how basically tomato basically is connected with the movies basically. Then he told that basically in this world basically there are assume that there are 100 types of vegetables. So for that basically both side basically the vegetables data basically are created like this many cities going to demand for tomato. For that basically 100 movies are created. This many cities is not going to demand too much of tomato. For that basically special 100 movies are created, and that movie basically are captured in the energy format, and that is dumped in the uh, energy format in the environment basically. So just see basically up to what level the Bollywood groups are also basically doing. So if it's a tomato and if it's a vegetable for 100 movies are basically created, then how many fruits are there basically? There are more than hundreds of fruits basically. For that basically they have created special movies basically. Then how many human needs are basically there? Dal is there, rice is there, then wheat is there, then safola is there, oil is there, butter is there. This basically they literally told that basically they controls it. Even basically we give the disease also basically. We basically give disease also basically sometime to control the demand. So few people says that basically we basically eat each and everything as a medicine basically because we know the system basically. We know the basically system basically that each and every food basically is supposed to eat like a medicine basically. But medicine like basically how you can eat the food basically. So basically that businessman basically want to say that eat like a little bit basically. If you have basically got angry, hungry basically, if you got hungry, so have a food of 75 percentage. 25 percentage basically don't full the stomach. So if you say that basically if you want to eat three rotis, then eat only two rotis basically. So that person basically want to say that. So that is also basically there. So like basically one person told that basically we are very dangerous basically. We basically control our city very strictly basically. Then he told that basically how basically. Then he told that basically people will not demand any of the things basically, any of the thing basically. If because you can't control the public, right? You can't control the public, but the ways basically are created. The ways basically are created. Few people says that Bollywood basically nowadays are controlling the few cities basically. They say that basically people are not going to demand too much. You just see basically of tomato. If you want to take a bet basically you can bet basically have a bet of 50 rupees that public are not going to demand tomato or basically 100 rupees. Public will not demand the tomato basically too much. Reason according to that basically we have set the energy. So just see basically how basically things are basically connected, and this basically connects to the future. This basically connects to the future basically. That also very controlling future basically because they say that basically we had told the government that without Bollywood basically you are not going to, without Bollywood basically city is not going to work basically, city is not going to run basically. Literally basically they have created their value basically, and in this basically government also came into the picture basically. Government also told that okay basically you can handle the city basically there is no issue. And then basically this green signal was given by the energy company also. They also told that basically, okay, you can basically handle the city. Rest of thing basically we are going to control it. Whatever things basically energy is generated, we will remove that energy, whatever things basically are generated, and then basically we are going to send to the nuclear power company. In that removal, basically, lots of other more energy basically might have connected. So like this, basically things are there basically. Like this also basically things are there. So it's not so easy. Few people say that to create the future, and it's not so easy also. No, basically, if one person tells that basically we want to create this city, then a few people say that do one thing, create 100 building here, 100 building here, create 50 building years, create 30 building years. Then basically we will see basically whatever things basically things is going to happen. Then basically uh, when the energy is going to generate from that city, if it's not getting generated properly, then immediately the earthquake is going to happen. And the earthquake will say that basically you have not created properly the building basically. Do one thing, create the city, entire city again basically. So earthquake basically which comes, these are all the this basically are also one of the reasons basically. Lots of people say that why basically earthquake is coming here in that basically area, basically lots of earthquakes are coming. What might be the reason? Lots of people say Delhi में तो बहुत earthquake आता है. In Delhi basically lots of earthquake basically comes. When then basically one person told that why in Bangalore basically not the earthquake is coming. Then they told that basically the Bangalore basically is created according to the plan, and Delhi basically is not created according to the plan. Where basically the Parliament House is there, that only basically has not created according to the plan. That means somebody has told that basically create 100 buildings in Delhi के इस area में, create for 50 building in Delhi's that area. Like this basically Delhi is created basically. Then basically the earthquake is 100% going to happen because it's not going to generate the proper energy basically. So Delhi basically 100% basically I am telling you, not a single human needs basically might be getting created. And it's not possible na, basically because you have created that way basically the Delhi. But see Bangalore basically. The nuclear power company will say that you can basically use the this image area basically for apple creation basically. This much area for the potato creation, this much area for the grapes. So like this basically you can say that Delhi basically is just to do the political control basically, just to do the political control. You can't create human needs from this Delhi. So that also basically might be the reason basically because India has created very with very perfect plan basically. So basically this also basically might be the reason basically the you can't create a single human needs from Delhi. So here basically one person told that basically if basically in entire India basically is getting used and basically they are generating the human needs basically, right? But if Delhi and few basically cities not going to convert their city basically, then basically what are the things going to happen? Then one person told that basically it's going to conflict to global warming basically. Everywhere basically you are going to get this problem, that problem basically. Because entire India basically you can't control the Bangalore energy to, for example, Bangalore energy basically want to come to Vadodara city, so it is going to come. Vadodara energies want to go to the Bangalore city, then it is going to come basically. Mumbai's energy basically is going to Vadodara, it's going to come. It's not going to control. Why? Because the entire cities are basically controlled by the power company, and they basically keeps on sending the data basically, and they can't filter the data, right? They can't filter. If they say one person told that basically, can we create the perfect plan for the power supply company? That, for example, 180. The reason behind this is also one of the project basically for the I think for the software company. One person told that basically. This many basically power basically you want to send, you can send that basically. Then he told that basically power supply is basically they are basically sending perfect power supply data. Yeah. Then basically they told that basically if they are sending power supply, then basically why basically the global warming issue came. Then basically why the global warming issue came basically. Then he told that basically yes, yeah, you are correct. Because whenever you are sending the power supply to Bangalore, then it is going to spread to the Delhi also. It is going to spread to the Vadodara also. It's by default, na, basically. It's going to spread to the each and every cities basically. Then he told that yeah, basically you are correct. Basically. You are correct basically. Because power supply says that basically this is the future for this particular city. We are sending the power supply for this particular specific city basically. This power supply is not for the other city basically. So one person told that basically exactly you are correct. Yeah. So that means you want to say that what should be the solution for this? Then he told that basically you have to think something basically. You have to think with it because you have already created each and every city as human needs. These basically cities are going to produce the human needs, and this is already done basically. And each and every software companies have mapped the entire cities in the digital way also. That is also basically done. So now basically how basically the global warming issue basically can be solved. Then one person basically literally asked the question because you have already created the digital world also. That is the main thing. That is the basically main thing basically. The one of the person basically asked literally basically. You have already created the digital world. Then one person told that basically, do you know basically in this world there are few basically cities basically. There basically not a single internet basically works. Then he told that yes, yeah, basically not a single internet, not a single mobile basically works in that city basically. So basically how that is created basically, how basically the data of internet basically is not going there basically. So what they have done basically, there basically there is no global issue, global warming is not there basically. Then he told that yes, yeah, basically this actually the people who are basically into the global warming issue solving, they basically might have not thought this basically. They also might have thought that right. Then he told that yes, yeah, they might have thought. Then basically why they have not done this? Then he told that there might be some issue basically. Because if you are controlling any energy basically, then it might create to some other issue also. That also basically might be problem. Then he told that basically then what the basically the creation basically that city has done that, what the creation that city has done that the internet basically and the each and every data basically is not getting access there. Even mobile also basically, even the rocky talkie basically also not access there. Then what the thing basically they might have done here. Then they told that basically you are correct. Yeah, actually what they might have done, because if you understand this country, this country or city basically, then our global warming issue will 100% solve basically. Then basically one person told that let me basically create one city in the land in the sea basically. Again, I basically need to check each and everything basically. Because if the things basically which is already created, you can't do the experiment basically there. Because there basically each and every energies are keeps on processing, keeps on processing, keeps on processing. So he told that basically let me create the another city and let me do the thing basically. Then he told that basically yeah basically we should do some basically R&D. So he's told that basically the global warming issue is basically also basically the future plan basically. Few people say this also. So basically one person told that the global warming issue is the future plan. One person basically literally told that basically. Then one person told that basically, do you know that basically certification basically I had told there was one certification which was basically created by one person basically, that created into the disease, And then basically the thousand area basically was created, then basically it converted into medicine. Like this basically it told that each and every education basically a disease, but the medicine basically are already created in the physical places basically, physical locations. Then he told that yes, yeah, you are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. You are 100% correct basically. You are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. Then one person told that basically uh, temporary basically if we remove each and every human needs basically which is getting generated from the cities basically, that means we if we stop the power supply data for the human needs basically which is going to generate in the, we will take example of the India country only. Assume that in India country basically there are 100 city basically they are producing the human needs. So let's basically for temporary we stop the each and every human needs power supply. Rest of basically data you can basically supply. Then he told that basically then basically then he told that basically for balancing basically then he basically told yeah balancing basically we can pass, but don't pass the data for the human needs basically which is basically getting generated from the each and every city basically. Then he told that basically okay let me see basically if this will work basically, but this basically might basically convert into lots of big issues also basically he told that. Then he told that let me try basically. Then he told that basically for a few days basically we stopped that power supply human needs which is going to generate. Then he told that basically nothing has happened here, but one of the person told that basically something basically has happened also basically. Something basically has happened also basically. Because in environment basically lots of manipulation has happened. Then he told that basically manipulation means lots of metrics basically has disconnected. Lots of metrics basically has disconnected. Due to that basically lots of issues also basically solved basically. Then one person told that basically you will long time before basically you told that basically education system basically so giving the 20 percentage of global warming issue. Education system basically is the 20 percentage of global warming issue, right? Then one person told that basically the education basically which is created, that basically you have to do the refreshment basically. The people basically that time basically they have thought according to that basically the world is not like that now. Then they told that basically but their time basically their brain basically was perfectly thinking basically, but nowadays basically it's a digital world basically, so we are dependent on lots of things basically, so the brain is basically created according to that basically. Then he told that basically yes you are correct, you are basically 100% correct basically. Then he told that basically the cities are created, the human needs basically which is going to generate that is also created, nuclear company also basically created. Then basically one person told that basically this basically I think we had done the experiment. Basically, do you know basically one corona basically disease was came basically. Then he told that basically this I think we have stopped that basically. We have stopped that, and basically the human needs basically which was going to generate that we have stopped. But then one person told that basically in stop basically the world basically has suffered lots of things basically, lots of people basically has died also. So that was basically due to that or basically due to some other basically problem, or basically the corona disease has came due to the human needs data basically which was coming, and that was basically stopped. Then he told that it might be possible basically. So one of the person basically told that basically, do you know each and every basically energy which for example one person of one country basically told that basically we have sent 150 countries energy supply to the one country. Then they told that basically yeah basically we got the data basically. We got the data, but they had not applied to the city basically. Then they told that basically they sends the data to the city basically. But they basically told that basically we are just sending the data. Rest of thing basically we also don't know basically how the things are basically working. Then one of the person told that basically it might be controlled by the satellite groups basically. Then he told that exactly that is correct basically. So it might possible that that time basically the satellite group when the corona basically was going to start. That time basically it might possible that satellite groups might have done something, might have stopped that data basically. Then he told that basically it might be possible basically. But they might be not done also basically in the satellite groups basically have not might not be done also. That also is possible. So anything basically possibility is there because you can't until basically you don't have the perfect data, you can't able to tell anything basically. And in this world basically not a single country basically have the perfect data. In this world basically not a single country basically has the perfect data. Then he told that you are correct because each and every software company says that basically we are mastering in this. We are basically master in this. We are master in this. But not a single company basically says that we are master in all the basically functional side. Reason the creation of the software company is created like that basically. It might be some other issue basically take over control. That might be the issue basically. That is also basically the other thing basically. That also is basically one of the thing basically. So one person told that basically global warming issue basically we got it basically. What was the actual problem? What was the problem that basically we got it? One person told that basically we got it basically. We actually got it. What was the problem? Then basically the thing basically was uh, one person basically told that we basically are passing the vegetable human needs for this particular city. We are passing vegetable creations data for this particular city. For this particular city only basically we are passing because for city basically we are basically got the authority from the certain level of nuclear power company that you can send the data to this particular city. They basically started doing the process and then basically the process has started. Then one person told that basically the process basically has started basically. The process basically has completed or basically it gets stopped in between basically. Then he told that basically is that possible basically that in between the process basically of the blood cells basically is ongoing of the pattern of the one city basically, then how basically you can stop the process here basically. Then he told that basically do you know basically one thing in night basically for millisecond basically each and every people basically dies. Then he told that yes yeah basically you are correct, you are 100% correct. So that time basically the process has stopped for each and every city basically at particular 24 hours basically we have in 24 hours basically for a millisecond basically people dies, and that is controlled by the satellite group. Which satellite basically that need to do the R&D basically, because if people basically can die for millisecond basically then basically that satellite basically mostly it might not be control of the earth planet area, it might be very far basically. Then one person told that basically how you basically got it this information. Then one of the person basically told that when you read the NASA websites, there basically lots of things basically has written, and they have told that basically there are lots of things basically which we are also basically not controlling. In that basically this is the one of the thing basically. This is basically the one of thing basically. Then he told that basically that means world basically stops for just millisecond daily. Then he told that exactly basically people basically dies for millisecond daily. But when basically that basically decided by the satellite only. That's why basically few people say that basically in your around basically your enemies are also there and your friends are also there. That basically is the energy basically. That is basically your energy basically. So like this basically one person told that basically you told that basically for a certain second basically the people dies, but how basically you can prove that basically? For that basically one person told that basically do you know basically each and the computer industry basically why basically the computer industry has created basically? Do you know this? Then one person told that basically they want to track each and every logs basically. What are the actually things basically happening in the cities basically? Then they told that basically, do you know basically, for example, in Bangalore city basically there are 5 crore people. That 5 crore people basically are basically uh, their basically bodies are basically generating energy. Whatever things basically is happening, they are basically storing the data in the computer. Then he told that basically, for example, uh, uh, morning 10 o'clock basically he has done the bath. Then 11 o'clock basically he has done the breakfast. Then basically 12, 1 o'clock basically he has done the dinner. Sorry, breakfast. Sorry, lunch basically. Then basically evening 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock basically he has done the dinner. So each and every activities basically he has done, and assume that in night basically he fucked his wife also. If he's married basically. Then he told that basically each and every basically things basically are stored in the log format in the text data basically. That these all activities you have done. That means you want to say that that millisecond basically was people basically dies. That was not tracked. That was not tracked by the computer industry, by the software industry. That was not tracked. Then one person told that basically each and everything basically we tracks basically that activity we have done basically. We have done something basically. That's why basically it is tracking the thing. Na? Otherwise, basically, how basically you can track? It's like a magic basically. You want to say that everything basically tracks happen and the computer basically stores the data. Then he told that basically no, yeah, basically. Then basically we need to connect with the Dell company, we need to connect with the Compaq, we need to connect with the Microsoft, we need to connect with the HP. These all basically are server groups basically. These all are just see basically the system basically are also created. These all are basically the server industry basically. These all are basically the server groups basically. These all are basically the server group basically. These all are the server group basically. And server group basically controls the human brains. And according to that, basically he gives the data also basically. That basically project basically how they gets business development officer. That example also already I have taken. Then he told that basically this was not tracked basically by the computer. Then he told that basically if this will track basically then basically the computer will not become God. Then basically he told that basically then what will be the difference between God and computer? That basically also basically you are correct, yeah. You are 100% correct. Then few people basically computer industry basically says that we want to become God. So for that basically we have created the human cloning system also. So that basically we can control each and everything. Basically. Few people says that also basically. And then few people says that basically if you are controlling then basically you might be doing the lots of manipulation in the environment also. So that also basically might be the 10 percentage of the global warming issue. So like this basically the percentage becomes 200%. Education 20%. Education might be more than 20 percentage. Reason is basically 95 percentage countries basically are connected with the education industry basically, and more than 500 to 600 people basically are doing the education, are connected with the education industry. So their basically data are basically getting processed inside their body basically, and each and every education sector are basically connected with the physical location. That also basically we have discussed. What is, for example, CA one person is there. He basically is doing the chartered accountancy problems. So it basically body connects to that location basically. But it's not like that basically. Power supply basically are passed. So that basically we have already discussed in the video. So like this basically things are also basically there. Like this basically things are also there. Each and every basically things basically are basically getting controlled. So like this, basically one person told that this is the basically future. You want to say the computer industry is the future. Then into the basically computer industry, basically 5 crore people basically are in Bangalore. Their basically data are basically getting stored in the computer, no basically. So that is not future basically. Then into the DS basically, yeah. That is the future. So 5 crore people are there in Bangalore. That is basically in Vadodara basically there are more than 43, 44 lakh basically. In Mumbai basically there are more than 5 crore basically, more than 6 crore people. Each and every data are basically getting stored in the computer. Then one person told that basically, do you know the software companies and the computers basically where these all data are basically getting stored? Then he told that basically need to do lots of research basically where actually each and every data are basically getting stored. So that basically this is also basically of the one of the future basically. In next level basically we are going to discuss little bit more about the computer's futures, energy's future, education levels future, how basically the education basically 20 percentage global warming issues are coming from the education. Like this 100% basically connects like this. So that percentage also basically we are going to see basically up to what level how basically the 100 percentage basically comes. But number basically might be different. Basically, education basically might not be 20, it might be 30, 40 also. But it minimum basically it will be it might be 20 basically. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this part basically, that is the future plan basically. Who decides that basically this city future plan should be like this? So who basically decides this? Next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this one.